Unfiltered Discussions. You got Nash in the building.
Got Ash in the building.
And today's topic is knowing your place in someone's life. Why is that important to know your place in someone's life? I guess I'll start it out. For me, it's important to know your place in someone's life because it eliminates disappointment, right? It allows you to know exactly how a person deals with you and what levels they deal with you on, right? Because oftentimes we might have our own perspective on how it may be a friendship, a relationship, even down to siblings, parents. You automatically assume, oh, that's my friend. Oh, that's my spouse. I'll automatically, get these privileges. I'll automatically, are going to be treated this way, right? But oftentimes you see that that's so far from the truth. It oftentimes takes for a situation to transpire for you to really see what it is and what it ain't with individuals, right? Like, I can go so far back into so many different situations, even down to when you support people, right? You can support the up and coming business, you can support an event they have, but when it's your turn, they don't return a favor, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, that allows me to know how you deal with me and what levels you deal with me on, mm-hmm. right? Because at the end of the day, more often than not, I'm the type of person that's going to make the first move anyway. Oh, you invited me somewhere, I'm coming through, right? And that's just what it is, because for me, I want somebody to show up for me. So if an invitation is extended, I'm going to come. It ain't like you gotta be my best friend. We ain't gotta been kicking it for years on a consistent basis. But if we got any contact, whether it's social media, whether if you have my phone number, doesn't use it daily, it doesn't really matter. If you extend something to me, that means that you thought of me enough to extend it to me. And if I can, 9 out of 10, I'm showing up. Unless, life happens and I just can't get there. But then when it comes back around, because everything comes full circle, and when it's your turn to return it, you're supposed to return it. And that's where another thing is about the accountability, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you know you can't make something or do something, you're supposed to be woman or man enough to say in advance, because we know what we got going on. Oh, I know that you invited me somewhere, but I can't make it. Maybe we can go out there for a brunch or a dinner, so I can make sure, you good and whatever the case may be, just to show love, because I definitely was going to come, but I couldn't because of X, Y, and Z. And people really pretend as if it's your fault that they didn't I can't make it, I had something to do. Understand, that's where the line of communication comes in at.
Absolutely.
Vocalize what's happening so I can understand you. So that way I'm like, dang, I ain't even come through. But when it was their turn, I came through. You understand?
Showed up and showed out.
Exactly.
My thing is, people tend to think that they're deserving of certain things or they get a pass because of the type of relationship that y'all have. They think that, oh well, shoot, that's my dog or whatever. She ain't gonna be worried about it. It's cool. She ain't gonna be mad about it. But you're not communicating that, saying like, well, dag, you know what? I couldn't make it. I couldn't do X, Y, and Z. But you have individuals that will say, oh, I couldn't make it or I couldn't show up, right? But then it's all BS behind it. They'll say, oh well, I got something for you. I'll make it up to you, or I'll do this. And then you look around and you haven't ever even heard from the person ever again, or they didn't, or they ghosted you, saying that they were going to do something and they hadn't done it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it comes from, where the people get this sense of entitlement off the basis of the relationship, even down to friendships. It's like, oh, I can go ahead and handle this person any old kind of way, and it's like, how could you handle somebody that's supposed to be, that's where the expectations go. And that's where people get disappointed at, because they're handling you in ways that you wouldn't even handle them.
Absolutely.
And that right there is not cool. Also, when it comes down to boundaries, people don't know their place in someone's life when it comes to boundaries. They overstep their boundaries. They assert themselves in ways that they shouldn't be asserting themselves, or they're communicating with you on levels that they shouldn't be. Whereas though they're talking to you in a fashion that's not respectable. You know, they overly opinionated. Like, you can't sit here and tell me my life. I'm the expert in my life. Absolutely. You got people that make these unrealistic suggestions of things that they would never do themselves, but you're suggesting something to me that you would never do. And that's the importance of knowing your place in someone's life. If you know somebody and know how this person is, why would you think that they would be okay with what you're suggesting and saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like, are you okay upstairs or something? Like, why are you suggesting things that you shouldn't be? You know? Yeah. And then the entitlement piece. People tend to make up these set of rules in their head and think that you're supposed to do something based off the benefit, for their benefit, because it's all to their advantage, for their benefit. That's why it's okay for them to, you know, not show up, but it's okay for you to show up to their things. And that's selfishness. If it ain't to their benefit, they're not trying to be bothered. So that right there sets the tone right there.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, what place you play and what role you play in this person's life. It's like, oh, this person don't mess with me like that. I can see that.
Absolutely.
So now let me back up a little bit, because now I know what it's showing me, and now I gotta back up and deal with you accordingly, because that right there is unacceptable. The boundary piece, people overstep their boundaries just because, or if you went over, like, say for instance, you went over a cousin, family, house, whatever, they think just because you're a family, you're supposed to be accepting to the behaviors that people possess. And they think that they supposed to have these perks and these privileges that goes along with certain things based off the relationship, and it does not work like that. And people got to stop making these assumptions. And when on their side, that's where they get disappointed, because you're assuming that this is allowed and that is okay. And just because it's okay with you, it doesn't make it okay for somebody else.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. You know, because a lot of people tend to, oh, that's my mother. Oh, that's my sister. Oh, that's my brother. Oh, we've been friends for 20-something years. She alright, he alright. That's the farthest thing from the truth, though. At the end of the day, because for me, a lot of stuff is principle. It's not even so much of what you're doing, it's the principle behind it, right? Like, I always look at a situation as if I'm in it first. I'm not going to pour something on you or do something to you that I don't want done to me. You know, and sometimes in life, certain people, it's just like, oh, that's an automatic, this is an automatic, this is an automatic. You know what I mean? For me, that's how I carry it, right? It's not, and that's the thing, and what you said, the disappointment is because it's the expectation piece tied to it. And then oftentimes people can't even step outside themselves to say, I see how that made you feel. Why wouldn't someone feel a way about something? You understand? Especially if they vocalized it. And it's like, it's as if people would create this own thing in their head, whereas though, this person is mad about this or this. No, facts is facts, and this is the truth. You know what I mean? And of course, a person that didn't experience that can't understand how a person that's experiencing it feels.
No.
Of course, they want to be on the bandwagon. Oh, yeah, but that's crazy. They're not in that person's shoes that has experienced the treatment, so they could never understand what the person who experienced it feels. So of course they're going to make you feel like what you've done or what you said is correct, and it's totally incorrect at the end of the day. You know, and that's just what it is. But they're even down to in relationships. It's like, oh, that's my spouse. I expect you to treat me this way. I expect certain things from you because, again, how I love you, how I do with you. But then I turn around and when you do something, I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that from you. Like, I might expect that from someone else, but not of you. So then it comes in with a little bit of hurt, and it's like a shock, right? And then you got to step back, and then you start, playing on these different scenarios in your head, trying to, wrap your mind around what just transpired, and it's still not adding up, right? And when certain situations it's not adding up, then that's when you start doing your subtractions and things, right? You have to start removing yourself from certain situations when you're not handled with care, when you're not handled with respect, and you're not being acknowledged. Your feelings are being acknowledged in certain situations. Okay? Because like I said, for me, everything is always principle. is the principle for me, because when you can't stand on what you know for to be factual, like to be correct, to be right, even and it's like this. Take out the titles and stuff. I'm not going to just ever go to a person that I don't even know and treat them any kind of way, because I don't want it done to me.
Absolutely.
I treat anybody with respect. Only time that switch get flicked over is when you come the way you know you shouldn't come with me. Other than that, is all good for me. But the minute that you cross over, then it's a different story for me. And I'm okay with that, and I know that about myself. And unapologetically too, right? So, and that's just that. But it's really important to know your place in people's life, because the minute that you don't know it, you're going to be looking around and you got to, so you got to sit back and laugh and like, damn. Alright. Oh, that's what it is. You know what I mean? And that's okay too. But don't put on a facade like it's one thing and then when it's really not though. You know what I mean? And that's another thing people will do, gotta understand, is that if it's any like underlying things that you might have going on with an individual, and this is why this is unfiltered discussions, because me and you, we've been best friends for years now, right? And we had raw conversations with one another.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because we both had expectations of one another before, right?
Yeah.
And we both was able to sit here and say, well, I expected this from you, and I automatically assumed because of this that you were going to be like this or would be doing this, right? And then once you're able to have those grown-up conversations, then you're like, oh, okay, now that makes sense to me, right? Because you know, in your mind, like you said, you set up all of these things and you're like, oh, this is supposed to be like this and this is supposed to be like that. And then when it doesn't turn out that way, it kind of like taint things a little bit until them conversations are had, and it's like, oh, all right, now, you know, real talk is like, oh, now I get it. Now I'm not there. But we were able to have that, and I know people that's watching us, they were like, oh, yeah, conversations were already had, and like I said, within our friendship, it's not, we don't have no like, you know, bad blood, and it's not no, yes, it was one thing on my end that I was misconstrued about, you know what I mean, and we cleared that up, and we got that understanding because it was an expectation. You understand? And then in return, you told me your expectation. I'm like, oh, you bitch, okay, all right, you know what I mean? Like, all right, that makes sense or whatever. But that's what people got to understand. It doesn't take away from the friendship. It's all about the expectation that you place within the friendship, because of the love you have for somebody, the timing you have with somebody, and just what you expect. So, what's what you got?
And that's the raw reality of it all, because people in friendships act like they can't say, well, bitch, you did this, I don't like that, like, what? And keep it moving, and it just be something small, and you be like, all right, cool. But a lot of people don't know how to have those raw conversations and really communicate. That's what it's called. In any relationship, have that communication and that understanding. Even if one person might have been wrong in a sense, and then you be like, you know what, I can see how I played the role in it too. That's why it's called accountability. It doesn't take away from the friendship, like you said. It just makes the friendship even better when you're able to have real live conversations, because you got people that don't know their place in somebody's life, and they tend to have like, one thing about it is, don't have no issue with me and I don't even know about it. Like, you got a secret issue with me, that's my issue. One thing about it, I'm upfront. Be upfront with me. I don't care if you feel like it make me feel some kind of way. I respect the fact that you're being upfront with me. That way I can correct whatever it is that I got going on with what you feeling. Or if I don't agree with it, I'm still acknowledging your feelings about it. Like, oh damn, okay, I can see how you feel that way, but I really don't agree with it. However, and this is the places that people don't understand, and this is where empathy come into play, because people are unable to sit back and put themselves in somebody else's shoes and say, you know what, that was not cool. You right about that. That was not cool on so many levels. But some people feel like they get to handle people in any old kind of way. But soon as the switch is flipped, they got an issue with it. Don't have the people have different rules for themselves than they have for anybody. And that goes in relationships. Oh, I can do this, but you can't. And that goes down to friendships, relationships, even down to when you with your parents, whatever. They got different rules for you than they got for themselves, or however, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not cool. Don't sit here and think it's okay. Like in a, let's say, an intimate relationship. It's okay for me to have guy friends, but my man can't have girlfriends. Like how does that look?
Yeah.
That don't even make sense. Stop setting rules for things that you wouldn't want somebody else doing, but it's okay for you to do it. Like, and people don't realize that, like, that's not fair and it's not cool, you know. So that's the raw reality of everything. Like, people really don't dig it. And I be looking around at certain things that transpire, and I look around and I'm like, hold on, let me look around again, because I'm confused.
Yeah, like,
because I'm not
tripping?
yeah, because I'm not understanding. And I always try to take a look at me first and figure out, am I tripping or not?
Yeah, that's that self-awareness.
And I keep doing that, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, I ain't tripping, because I really got to start with me first, and then I look around and be like, no, this person ain't cool on so many levels, and it's not good. But some people don't know how to take constructive criticisms. You know, it's a difference from somebody sitting up here trying to bash you and come at your character as a whole and being hateful and negative versus somebody giving you constructive criticism in a way that they're handling you with care, in a sense. And a lot of people don't know that. That's the importance of knowing your place in somebody's life. And it's vice versa, knowing how to handle your family, your friends, and certain things. And then I look around and I see a lot of people that got issues with things that they have no business having an issue with.
Ooh, speak on it.
They got issues with shit that they ain't got no reason to be having an attitude about, and none of that. You looking around like, hold on, how are you mad about that? And they don't have nothing. It don't even add up.
But then they make you believe that, oh, because I care about you so much, I don't like that that's happening to you. When and to keep it all the way real, you don't give a damn for real that that's happening to me. That's like your way of basically letting me know you and some that I don't agree with, and I'm going to blast this to you in a way. I don't care if I'm coming off ignorant, rude. I don't care if I'm hurting your feelings in the process, but I'm going to tell you, you know, I don't think that person is for you. I think X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, if you feel as though that someone you love is in a situation that you know is not good for them, why would you come with aggression if you feel like they're already torn and broken already? You know, you would think you'd be handling this person with more care, right?
Absolutely.
But that goes to show that you're not here for the right reason. You know what I mean? You're making it as if you're upset because something is happening to someone, but for real, this is your green light to really say how you feel and for real about the situation as a whole. You know, you really, you can't, and this is what I always tell people, you can't pay attention to what somebody is saying. You gotta pay attention to what they're doing as well. It's not just, oh, well, they said no, are their actions matching those words to you? Is everything aligning right? Because I could say something all day, but am I putting action to that? Because it's not real if I'm not putting action to it, especially if it needs action in order for it to become a reality. And most people don't even dig that. Well, they said stop hanging on to the words, taking things on face value. It doesn't mean shit. And I don't personally have, but you know that. You understand? Real talk. So yeah, stop. Really look into it. Step back. Take the emotion out of it. Take the title out of it. Take all that, the love out of it. Take it all out, and really look at what someone's doing and saying and what they ain't doing when it comes to you. Because let me tell you something. We all got a choice. We all choose what we indulge. We all choose who we deal with. We all choose what we do. We all choose what we not want to do. Because let me tell you, if I feel heavy about you, a situation, I'm gonna press the gas for you every time. And I ain't letting my feet up off that thing. You know, until I know for a fact that stuff is right with you, that I did my part, and that I didn't leave you feeling no kind of way.
Absolutely.
And that's in any situation. Because how I feel about you at the end of the day. But let me tell you something, people will sit around and then they won't even acknowledge anything about you. You ever dealt with a man that was sitting around and act like they could have made your day horrible?
Oh, yes.
And then they sit around and then you got an attitude.
You right. It's warranted.
You think that I don't? You know what I mean? So it's like you can't do something to me and tell me how I feel.
And think that it's okay.
These are my feelings. I stand in them, and I ain't going to change that for nobody. You did this, and it made me feel this way, and now I'm reacting like this. You see how it's a give and take? For every action, there's a reaction. I don't care how small, I don't care how big. Everything is going to have a reaction to it, whether negative, positive, in between. You get me?
Yeah, it's like, how you upset because you made me feel some kind of way and doing things that I don't like. How you upset? That says a lot about an individual. Like, how you doing it? You know, and you know, a lot of the times people tend to pacify people. You know, you have people, and even in like intimate relationships where they know that it did you and made you feel some kind of way, and did something to you, and now it's your fault because you're having an emotion behind something that you done, and then looking around like, oh, you ain't supposed to feel that way. Like, that's craziness right there at its finest. And then the individual later on to try to smooth things over and try to provide you with a gift, not acknowledging your feelings, not acknowledging anything that went on, not no real conversation being had, but let me throw you a gift, you know what I mean, so that'll pacify the situation and keep it moving. So a lot of the times people have to really pay attention to the relationships that they're in and really look at the fine lines in between. You know what I'm saying? Because did the issue get resolved? Did y'all have a conversation about it? Was your feelings acknowledged? Any of the above? No, you was pacified with a gift, and now you were forced to be okay with it because now you have a gift set in place in order to throw your emotions to the side. Like, that's not cool. So people think that gifts are the things in personal lives.
It's like a place of an apology. It's like,
no.
I want to talk about it.
But people don't know that apologies doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, I apologize. No. An apology is something.
Change behavior as well.
Exactly. And it's genuine and literally identifying how you made this person feel, the emotion behind it, and really acknowledging this person feeling. So you don't have to necessarily come out and say, I'm sorry. The words and the action behind it shows that. Oh, you know what? I know I was wrong for that, and I made you feel X, Y, and Z when I did this, or when I decided to do something that you didn't agree of, or however that go. Not apologizing on some surface BS.
Oh no, I apologize, but it's no but.
You're discounting it now. When you put a but in there, you're discounting it. Oh, if. Oh, and this is another thing. People say, if I made you feel. Ain't no if. You did. You did. You talking about probably. As if it's not accurate. You're telling me if I made you feel some kind of way as if it wasn't accurate. Like, that's not okay. You know what I'm saying? And people got to really pay attention to the words that's being displayed here, because there's a lot of manipulation going on with people, and people don't even dig it. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a while for people to really understand what's happening in any relationship, because you have friendships that's manipulative, where they're doing certain things to you, and here it is, you thinking this person changed. You look around shocked and confused again, because now your expectations again based off of them telling you this, and then the actions again, and it's like, oh my God, I'm disappointed again. Wow, that's crazy.
Absolutely. Or then you have situations where people have a pack of people that they can feed any kind of information to, and they're running with, oh yeah, that. Are you okay?
But that's what you call flying monkeys.
Yeah, but crash dummies.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, just because you guys don't have the heart or the voice to speak up about how you feel about some stuff, that's your problem. That's on you. You know what I mean? Because that's the stuff I can't respect, and that's the stuff that scares me. Like, you would sit here and say, oh, that's fine, that's okay. But deep down inside, you boiling. It's about to spill over. And this person think, oh no, her or him is okay with it.
But how can they pretend like that?
I was cool. They was cool about it. But deep down inside, it's resentment. It's hate and stuff deep inside, because you got this person thinking that what they're doing or saying to you is cool because you never vocalized it. You know, our mission statement, the things that people internalize but never get a chance to vocalize.
Absolutely.
You know, that creates things within inside of you, and it really brings out bad outcomes when they finally do all boil you to the surface, because you got people thinking that everything is the hunky dory with us, and then deep inside, I'm like, man, I don't know this bitch, was this nigga, like, because you don't know that I feel away, but because I made you think that what you're doing is saying it's cool. But other people might know that I feel away, or Make it make sense.
That's because people. It's just funny to me because it like how could you sit there and pretend on something like that, and that says a lot about your character. If you want to sit around here and allow something to go on like that and not speak up, that's why that person think is okay. You have a lot of people that have friends or in friendships or in relationships and see stuff that's going on.
Bullshit.
They co-sign bullshit, and that's why you got the flying monkeys and the crash dummies around where they sitting around here, and this why this person don't think nothing of their behavior because ain't nobody there to check them on some shit. Like you need to be checked. Yo, that wasn't cool. Are you serious? That was not cool what you did. Like how could you possibly let that go on? And that says a lot about somebody's character. I don't want nobody around me that's not going to check me if I'm doing something that's not cool.
Hello.
Check me on something. That's why I said that's what I mean.
That's when yes man, yes woman.
It's weak, and I don't like it.
Like cut it short. Like I'm big on allowing people to say they feel. Yeah, and you always want to hear it? Absolutely not. But can I respect it? Because I'm the type of person that gotta hear it, process it, and then come back to it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to give you an immediate reaction if it's not an aggressive one. That's the one you're getting immediately. What you mean? What do you mean? Like you're automatically getting that because I don't like what I'm hearing, even though it may have some truth to it. But I have to process it, break it down, and then let me sit in my thoughts a little bit, and then I'll come back to the drum board and say, you know what? And laugh about it, because then you got to laugh at yourself in the midst of the BS. Like, I was tripping.
You know you was.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm so crazy. Like, what would I? Damn, I might apologize about that. And an apology doesn't mean that you're weak.
No.
You know what I mean? It really shows just how much of a grown-up you are. Just how mature you are, just how much you're able to step yourself outside of the situation and be selfless. And that's always zone in on that selflessness piece because it's important to me. You know, even down to the fact that I think it's important. I'll reach out to people that, no, you're not my everyday friend, but I see you going through something crazy. I'm going to give my condolences. I'm going to check in with you because of who I am as an individual. There's no benefit in it for me, but to know that I checked in to make sure you good with what you got going on, because life shows up, right? And it's not, I'm not looking for anything in return from you. No. This is how I feel, and this is what I'm going to do based off who I am as a person. You know what I'm saying? Now, if something come up out of that, whether it's a friendship or just a check-in every now and again, like it's like a back and forth thing, cool. But for me, no, it's just because I see you're having a hard time. And I can understand how that can make you feel, so I'm doing a check-in with you real quick, right? And that's just what it is. It's nothing that I'm looking for to gain from it. Absolutely not. No, no, and no. If I see somebody in distress and I can step in, then I'm going to do so. And that's the thing about being genuine, and really like moving yourself outside of situations. When you know when somebody is really a good person, because I don't even like to say that about myself. That's for me, that's just like saying I'm a ill. That's for other people to say. I really hate when people talk like that. Like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that. You, of course, you're going to think of that way about yourself. Others, outsiders that you have come in contact with, that's their job to put that label on you. You don't put that label on yourself at the end of the day. But yeah, but when you are just a genuine person, you do stuff from the heart, like, you're gonna always be blessed, and people will be like, "Dad, girl, you got through that." Like, yeah, life shows up, but I ain't going to fall. I ain't going to crack under pressure. You know what I mean? Because honestly, I operate better when there's pressure on my shoulders. You're gonna see, oh, Dad, she came up out of that every time.
Yeah, for sure.
Every time. That's all I know how to do at the end of the day. You know, people be expecting you to like be torn down and to be like losing yourself and your sanity, and then it's like it's not gonna happen.
You're gonna see it.
On it, but it's not gonna happen.
Ain't happening. You're gonna see me evolve.
Oh, all day long, and it's like, you know, you can still have love for people, but oftentimes you gotta know where you draw that line at too. You know, because I'm big on love, history, you know, stuff like that. But if a person constantly show you over and over again in different ways what it is and what it ain't, then you gotta believe it. Some stuff is harder to accept, You know what I mean? But you still have to accept it. When it keeps showing up, it might not show up all the time, but if it show up months from now, years from now, and certain things occur, and you still don't know how to wrap your mind around it because it those expectations that you were speaking upon, it really like does something to you, right? In ways that at the certain time of life it shouldn't, right? But that comes more with separating the emotion from the reality, right? You gotta really separate the two in order for you to really grasp it and understand it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's so crazy that you said that, but at the end of the day, like when you know you're a genuine person and you know that you are genuine and you know who you are as an individual and you're coming from a good place, that's always going to make you feel some kind of way, because it's like, damn, like really, like I was really being genuine, and here it is that you do this to somebody that was really genuine, handling you with care and doing these different things, and it does make you feel some kind of way, because I'm not that friend that you got to talk to every day, but I know how I am as an individual, and you have people that will play upon your genuineness and prey upon that and use that to their advantage, and it's not cool.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's just important to, once you know the place that you have in someone's life, it eliminates disappointments, it eliminates, hurt, it eliminates so many different things, because you just automatically assume. You can't assume. Never assume that the feelings are mutual, right? You can never do that, because oftentimes it takes one incident to show you that the feelings aren't mutual. Because we all got a choice to go hard for individuals. We all got a choice to say, this ain't happening. If X, Y, and Z, this ain't happening, right? We all have those choices. And once we make that choice, you don't get to decide how somebody feel about the choice that you made. Because I'm quite sure as you were making choices in your life, you play down the pros and the cons of the situation, right? So and that's just what it is. That's kind of sort of like cliche. You made your bed, now you gotta lay in it, right? Everybody make a bed every day. We choose how we make it, or we don't make it. We still gotta lay in it when it's all said and done. I just want people to know that at the end of the day, whether it's a friendship or relationship, you and your parents, you and your siblings, it's extremely important to know the importance that you have in somebody's life and where you at in someone's life. That way that a lot of things, you won't even react to them no more. You won't even say, damn, that made me feel excellent, that made me feel a kind of way. It's to be expected, because now you know what to expect, because it has transpired before, or it has transpired in different ways. And I always tell people, you gotta judge a person about how they treat others, because you're not exempt. It just wasn't your turn yet.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I meant. Every time I say that up on this podcast, you have to look at each individual for who they are, what they do, and what they indulge in, right? Because then it really shows up of who the overall picture. Like, it's like I always say, everything comes full circle. But that's it for today. Always enjoy your perspective on things. This is Nash signing off.
Ash signing off.